I put my trust in Bond.
So I'm continuing my James Bond game review series with the next entry in Activision's James Bond portfolio, Bloodstone, which is supposed to be a hidden gem and underrated game, which should have gotten a sequel. Created by Bizarre Creations, who are most well known for creating racing games like the awesome Project Gotham Racing, Blur, but also action games like the, in my opinion, underwhelming The Club. This is a bit different than the previous games. It's played in third person, it includes driving segments and is based on an original story, not a movie which was already released. But the player is taking control over the Daniel Craig Bond. Compared to the previous games, this here makes a huge step up in regards to the presentation. The story actually is coherent and is pretty close to a typical Bond story, I would say. As I said, I don't really care about the James Bond movies, so take this with a grain of salt. I have seen a couple of the movies by now though, but I still appreciate what they did here. I mean, they really tried. The gameplay is standard cover-based shooting fare. The player can try to be stealthy at times and use silent takedowns which trigger a hand-to-hand combat move, which will give the player a focus point, which can be used to instantly aim at an enemy and kill them with one shot. The player can have up to 3 focus points at any time. There are no grenades or other explosives which Bond can use, but there are various weapons. Unfortunately, Bond can only carry 2 weapons, and most of the time the first weapon is his P99 and his secondary weapon is an MP or rifle. The gameplay is varied enough and the game is with 6 to 7 hours not too long and doesn't overstay its welcome. The player can also sometimes hack devices with a minigame or get behind the wheel in a car chase, but most of the time we will shoot. We do this in various locations like Monaco, Turkey, Siberia, Burma and other different places which are rather well modeled and presented. The shooting is okay for the most part. I liked it in Quantum of Solace more though, but it's fine here. There are a couple of challenges which keep the player interested, and some locations have a pretty good level design. Like Quantum of Solace, towards the end Bond is fighting armies of bad guys. But fortunately most of these sections are quite fair. The driving is a bit weird though. The cars actually drive pretty well and the old car you drive in the beginning feels different than the Aston Martin you drive in most other missions. So that's interesting. The car chases are a bit too long in my opinion and get too chaotic. Especially as Bond can only shoot in special circumstances. In most of the chases I didn't shoot once. Overall this was fine though and better than I would have expected from this game. The hacking QTEs are what you expected and overall the gameplay is fine. The story has some twists and turns and tries to build some tension, but at least for me there was no real surprise. Bond is chasing a bad guy who tortured and killed an important researcher and uncovers a conspiracy plot. One by one he kills the seemingly leaders of the group, only to learn that someone else is behind this. It's okay and leads the player to the next location though, so this is also fine. I'm sensing a theme here, so it's all just fine? No, actually I do have a problem with one section of this game. Early on in the game there is a section where the player fights in some ruins and a lot of the enemies have grenade launchers. With these grenade launchers they one-hit you and they are surprisingly precise with those damn things. I actually didn't play it for a while when I reached that section of the game as I was too annoyed. It's stupid and honestly baffling to me. Why do you put such a section early into your own game? Why do you put that section into your game at all? The most infuriating thing is that at the end of the section you have to run up some stairs and there will be another bunch of bad guys and 1 or 2 of them have grenade launchers again. If you didn't know they were coming, you will die as they will blow you up before you reach the next cover. You can fortunately see enemies when activating a function on your phone. This makes the screen pixelated and you see the enemies and their weapons. That's a kind of nice idea and Bond is also reacting correctly when he pulls out his phone. So when he is reloading and you hold up the phone, he will drop the mag and hold his phone. Once you put it away, he will finish the reload. This is a pretty nice detail I didn't expect. So is Bloodstone an underrated game, a hidden gem? Well, as I said, it's overall a fine game. I hated that one section of the game, but the rest was entertaining enough, I would say. The story, even though nothing great, is okay, and towards the end there are some interesting moments. Bond fans will probably love this one, even though I have to say the game ends with a cliffhanger that will never be resolved. Most of the time I had some fun, and I would say you can pick it up if you find it cheap. I think it's even a little better than the Jason Bourne game, which I thought was also okay. And James Bond Bloodstone for the PS3 will get a 7 out of 10.